We're going.
James Conner isn't going anywhere. What's that mean for the Arizona Cardinals run game in 2026? Any tweaks coming to that? Plus the absolute latest intel on the eve of legal tampering, Johnny Venerable.
Hit that like button. Is Malik Willis about to get $60 million from this franchise? Cards After Dark starts now. Hey, welcome in. We're live. It's Cards After Dark. Hit that like button. I'm aggressive tonight. It's Bo Brack. It's Johnny Venerable. It's your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. There it is. Noah Man is MIA. He'll be back tomorrow. Sweet Baby Shane behind the Mac tonight. Bo Brack, fresh off a dad's only weekend here. We're tapping in. We're putting up the bad signal because we got so much to talk about, Bo.
Yeah, not short on content tonight. Johnny said before the stream, he said if anything short of 1,000 is a failure, we should probably just pack it up and call it quits as far as the show. But I say anything short of 500 likes is a failure tonight because I see already 250 strong and early. I say hello to Derek Quimby. How about we got Shizer? How about Seth Fuddle? Steven Jackson, Chef, as always here. AZ Moses, Snacks, Jared Sweetwater, Jesus, Bees, Michael, picking spreads. Our guy Donnie in the chat. How about our guy KR Connection? We got Pay Case Fitzgerald, Amadeus, Bryson, official Gio Casey, Jacob. So many fine people ready to talk about this team. The flurry of moves today, and then the flurry of moves potentially on tap in about 12 hours from now.
Hit that like button, as my co-host said. So much to talk about. Today it felt like the window dressing to free agency. And the Cardinals spent Friday, if you didn't join us, first of all, shame on you. Dalvin Tomlinson out, cut, $10 million in the bank for the Cardinals. Today, we got some updates as it relates to James Conner's situation. So we woke up today, full transparency, with a text from an insider basically saying James Conner's coming back, more details to come. So we knew, okay, restructure is happening. We don't have the figure yet, but James Conner and the Cardinals came to an agreement. I don't know if he accepted the Cardinals' offer. You know, Mike G was on our show both Friday and said, you know, it's going to be a robust running back market. And we've seen that, right? So James Conner returns on what I would venture to guess is probably anywhere between like a $3 to $4 million deal, maybe $5 million with incentives. Listen, he's 31. He lives, I think he lives in South Gilbert near your boy. Like he's settled here. He's got family here. I think he just, at the end of the day, wanted to see this contract through, even though, like, I feel like he probably could have at least gotten that on maybe a multi-year deal in free agency.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe he's going through this whole song and dancing a year from now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, then you're 32. Who knows what the season has in store for a guy like James Conner. But even though Jonathan Gannon, a big proponent of James Conner, left this organization unceremoniously by Black Monday and being fired, there are a lot of James Conner supporters and believers in the facility still, Monti Ossenfort being one of those guys. And I'm sure Mike LaFleur saw James Conner, when healthy, run all over this division as he did back-to-back seasons, over 1,000 yards rushing for this team. So, got a little bit of a haircut, got a trim. As you said, we don't know exactly what it is, but it was going to be close to 10 as far as a cap hit. They didn't do anything. It was $9.8 million cap hit. Sure, they reworked some things because I don't think there was any restructurable money on his contract. So I don't know if they just crumpled it up and ironed out a new deal. but according to Tom Pelissaro, he's headed back and it's going to stay in the desert. And like, to your point, like, he could probably have gotten similar money on the open market, but at this stage in his career, did he want to get up and relocate and do all the things that goes into that for maybe like a 1-year stint somewhere? I think he wants to kind of finish what he started kind of out of nowhere, kind of under the radar. 5 seasons ago, where people were like, oh, he's leaving Pittsburgh, where he started in the state in high school. He started in college at Pittsburgh. He was a draftee of the Pittsburgh Steelers after that, kind of a later round guy, beat cancer, and then became kind of a fixture in their run game until he wasn't.
Yeah.
And then the Cardinals kind of kicked the tires on him, and he had a lot left in the tank. So it's a good guy, easy guy to root for. But what does that mean, Johnny, for the Cardinals run game in 2026 now with Trey Benson and JC in the fold?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? Like, Trey Benson, if he had taken off with this job, James Conner wouldn't be here. And it's crazy. Trey Benson, I don't want this to come off as a Trey Benson indictment, Bo, but he was drafted when James Conner had 1 year left on his deal. Since Trey Benson has been here, James Conner, we thought there's a possibility he could depart twice now. And he gets a new deal. And then he got hurt last year. And then Trey couldn't take over because he gets hurt. And then when everybody thought that they were going to move off of James, guess what? James is back again. So I know we're going to talk about like the Jeremiyah Love aspect of this. Let me say this. I think there are more backs coming. I think there are additional additions coming. Added backs in the draft, maybe in the third or fourth wave of free agency. But if you're Trey Benson, it's like, what do I got to do here? Well, what you got to do is stay healthy and produce. And, we're going to get to it later in the show. There's a good chance they're going to be having a running quarterback, lead the way here in 2026. I just think James Conner is going to come into training camp, I would imagine, in incredible shape. I mean, he's been, not taking hits since last September. So he's been in the weight room. He's been training. I'm sure he looks fantastic. That's part of this. 31-year-old James Conner is not your typical 31-year-old running back because his game is not predicated on speed. It's predicated on lateral quickness and power and veracity. So I think you're going to see, two last dances this year, Budda Baker and James Conner, and let's see what the Cardinals can do. But I do not think this means that they're not going to add another back, but I do think this spells the end for any glimmer of hope that we had to take Jeremiyah Love. So you could say, well, I saw people on Twitter saying, take him. James could be the perfect, mentor. Just get his feet wet. Like, with all due respect, like, if you're taking Jeremiyah Love third overall and that position in particular, like, you wipe the slate clean, you welcome him to the team, you say, hey, young man, here's the football 30 times a game.
Right.
You're not a handcuff with him and James Conner.
You don't need a mentor at that spot. Sorry. I mean, how
I appreciate the concept. I do.
Sure. Look, and you wouldn't want to do that to James. It's like, here, sign this deal and then basically carry number 4 or whatever number Jeremiyah Love's going to wear. Carry his pads and stuff like that. No, and James is the ultimate teammate. He's the consummate professional. He showed that. The good thing about his injury, despite his age, is it didn't have to deal with any ligaments. It wasn't a knee. It was what it looked like was just a kind of a gross ankle foot injury. So we'll see, where he is. I'm sure he's in line to be ready to go, start, OTAs and in camps and stuff like that. Is going to be the continue to be the guy that his leadership transcends the playing field. So it's an easy deal to like. But it wasn't the only rework deal that happened today. Yeah. And we'll get into the Sean Murphy-Bunting part of it. But, I don't think it rules out drafting a running back. I honestly think that's probably, if they can't find anybody in this deep free agent class to kind of round out that room, I wouldn't mind seeing it, whether it's like an Emmett Johnson from Nebraska or somebody later, maybe a Seth McGowan from Kentucky. I think that's probably a more likely route than going with the big headliner with the third overall pick.
Yeah, it's not a great class to take aback. Like we've talked about it. It's not one of those years where, Trey Benson that year, there was supposedly great value on day 2. That's why they took Benson out of Florida State. The good news is it's a position where you just need to start throwing stuff at the wall, Bo. You need to get younger. You need to get more explosive. Like I sympathize with the people who have mentioned, hey, this feels like we're going backwards. Like, why are we re-signing players from a season where we won 3 games where, James didn't play last year, but I understand the sentiment. James is injury prone. That's not me knocking him. That's the reality of the situation. And Trey Benson is unproven at this point. You need another option. And so, I am not opposed to waiting till the 3rd or 4th wave when guys haven't been signed and getting a Rashad White or somebody like that to come in here and compete, and signing somebody on, come into camp and win a job. But I think, it would be nice if the Cardinals would flip Jacoby Brissett for a day 3 pick, and then you'd have multiple, and then you could say, well, we're going to draft a back here on day 3. We're going to make sure between round 4 through 7, we've got multiple picks here in, the 4th or 5th round. We're going to take a running back. There's still time for that now, but, Kerwin Williams or Kyron Williams, I always say Kyron Williams of the Rams with Mike LaFleur, he was a 5th rounder, and that's good value. Javonte Williams with the Cowboys, street free agent. Once upon a time, I think a 3rd or 4th rounder. And Brian's right. Like Benson to me is a complete wild card in the same vein of like a BJ Ojulari. If you get anything from him, if they produce, great. But I'm not counting on those guys. And so, but the good news is this is a position, as my co-host has mentioned, since we got back from the combine, that you can find solutions damn near everywhere. But here's the thing now, and this maybe this is the last time we talk about it, at least until the draft, is like we're gonna see Jeremiyah Love go after the Cardinals, and it's gonna his success this year is gonna get compared to not only the Cardinals running back group, but whomever the Cardinals now take at 3. And the team better be prepared for that. If he goes to the Titans, don't smirk at me. If he goes
not smirking, I'm kind of just like I don't buy it.
I'm
not going to put that type of pressure on the Cardinals.
Keep the pressure.
Running back room. It's not that serious. Like the Jeremiyah Love, hype train that went off the rails. It was never that serious. Did you really think that Monti Ossenfort was going to take a running back 3rd overall?
No, I wanted to believe that this was a special circumstance, but we both thought James was going to be cut, right? Like when we got to the combine, everybody was saying, "Oh, he's being cut," and then it was Matthew Berry who was like, "They're going to offer him what it felt like a very much throwaway restructured option." And then lo and behold, he took it. By the way, Matthew Berry had some other insight that we hope eventually becomes true as well. But here's the deal. Jeremiyah Love, I've mentioned it many times. I believe he's a special circumstance. I think he's going to have immediate success. The Cardinals need to be prepared for that. Similar to Scadaboo last year. And I'm sure they were sitting over there.
I think people understand what they're passing on when they look at the just how it's kind of tantalizing a running back in him being where he is as far as this draft goes. Like it happens every year. Everybody probably could we do it? But then you look at just the edge that you get from team building when you lean into premium positions, and that's just the fan base, and I guess you're going to be one of those guys. You're going to hold it against them for the rest of Jeremiyah Love's career.
Well, we do that with
that's
other
fine.
Prospects. That's par for the course.
I guess, but you have to understand, you have to look at the production that you get from that room.
Yeah.
And then you have to look at what you invested in it, and then also where you reallocated that pick and where you're going to get, your bargains and stuff like that. So yeah, regardless, 3rd overall, they have to hit on it. And if it's delayed gratification or if it's instant success, either one of them, it has to happen. An impact maker has to be found at 3rd overall. This isn't 16th overall, where I think they did a good job in finding Walter Nolan. But it can't be Marv where it's just like, hey, 2 years into it, you're still trying to find your way there. It can't be Darius by any stretch. You got to find somebody that you're going to be able to plug into this lineup and is going to be able to make an impact on a down-to-down basis.
Do us a favor, hit that like button, get us to 500 likes here. I want to see how this plays out with quarterback, and we're going to talk about it. And you and I both feel like the team has shed a bleep ton of cap space to sign an offensive lineman. Like, we would be shocked if they didn't sign a guard or tackle tomorrow or early this week. All right, so let's put James on the shelf. So James is back. We'll have time to do the whole, dog and pony show of like James Conner. What does he mean to this franchise? I'll tell you what, it's damn impressive. He's going to be playing for 3 different head coaches here. That's insane. Yeah. The running back position. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, it was one of Jonathan Gannon's favorite players. Like, he told us off air at the combine, he's like, this is the one guy, like, I got to have James.
Yeah. He's the blueprint. He said he's the blueprint.
He's a warrior. He's an alpha male. Like, if you could just if James could just suddenly be 24 again, then we'd be and then you just give him a career contract. But so James is back. Sean Murphy-Bunting is back, which is shocking, but then peel back the layers a little bit. So let's turn the clocks back a year. This humble little fanboy podcast knew that Sean Murphy-Bunting had been hurt away from the facility and he had blown out his knee, which is why we had said prior to free agency that we thought they'd sign a corner. They didn't, but then they took Will Johnson in the second round. So the team was not happy with how his injury happened. Like, not happy in Sean. We can tell you that definitively. Then we saw Sean at joint practices with the Broncos, and this is just a perception, and I think this is the case for a lot of people. Like, his leg that he had blown out his knee was like half the size of his other leg. He had a long way to go, and he spent the whole year with the team rehabbing. And so I don't have the source. I would venture to say, like, the Cardinals got his salary back from last year because he had his injury away from the team. I would be shocked beyond belief if this is not how the negotiation went. Sean, we're going to cut you, or you can continue rehabbing here and we can restructure and you're going to play for what equates to the vet minimum. And Sean's like, sounds good. Because Sean's under 30 years old, because Sean doesn't want to go into the open market and have to woo another coaching staff coming off an ACL. I would be shocked. This is the equivalent of Sean Murphy-Bunting being cut and re-signed for the vet minimum. So I would not freak out about this.
Yeah, and look, people got bent out of shape. One, because you see the non-football injury list and you understand with that designation that it happened away from the facility, and your mind wanders. What the hell happened? Obviously, he's a guy that was in the public forum, especially on social media, with a high profile person. So kind of easy to kind of pick on him a little bit or meme him a little bit, right? And then he didn't have a great first season with this team, right? So there's a couple things going up against him. But I think, like, when you looked at the player that was coming from Tennessee and obviously via Tampa Bay, where he had really strong performances, one that, helped him along with Tom Brady win a Super Bowl. Sean Murphy-Bunting, you realize, especially when they signed him, he's a high character guy. I know he probably made a mistake and wanted to take back, what happened that caused him to miss the season last year. But he was in the facility. He was with the team, as you were saying. I was watching him with defensive backs all the way until week 18, and at the on the practice field, helping out young corners, just in drills and just kind of giving them as much advice or support, whatever they needed. Yeah, you can appreciate that. And he's the guy that led the 100%. Team in interceptions previous season. It wasn't like a high mark; it was 3. But, he's a guy that has taken the ball away, does well in this style of defense. And you look at the defensive back room, it's just like, okay, this is going to be a full, competition. Like, it's Will Johnson and who else? Yeah. Who's going to take that job? And they like to have 3, right? They like to have 3. So they've got Starling Thomas in there. He's coming back from the ACL. You reinsert SMB.
Yeah.
You've got Denzel Burke, who played well, who led the team in picks in his rookie year. Probably going to have to wait for Garrett Williams. We'll see if he even gets a chance to get back next year from the Achilles. But, that position is flooded with numbers, Johnny. And, we'll see what it means. Is there an odd man out? Is there a former high pick that fell out of favor and also doesn't have any, nice things to think about his defensive coordinator coming back? Social media tells me that's probably the case.
It would not surprise me if Sean Murphy-Bunting was a camp body and inevitably did not make this team.
Yeah, it's very possible.
I hesitate to even say he's in their plans this year. I think they're going to let him continue to rehab and see how he looks over the summer and see how he does in training camp if he makes it that far. But if you and I were here in July and they were like, Sean Murphy-Bunting's been released, that wouldn't surprise anybody. But
right.
They're gonna. We'll see. They're. I think what you just said in the context you gave, which not a lot of people have unless you're at the facility, is why he's sticking around at least temporarily. Is that he was with his teammates and probably felt bad about what happened, was a good soldier, and so they're going to see what happens. So, if I'm sitting here right now, who are the starting outside corners for this team? Denzel Burke and Will Johnson right now. So, I didn't say Max Melton for a reason. Why? Who would you say is the other outside corner?
I would say, I think as a restricted free agent, it's pretty easy to bring back Starr.
I just mean he's coming off an injury. So if opening up OTAs next month, I'm going to go with the two guys who finished the year as starters. But I'm not saying week one. That's a long way from now. Let's start.
And I have no concerns about the defensive back.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. They better not take one in the draft. I'll say this. Okay, enough. You got Elijah Jones still in that room too. It's insane.
I would say the Max Melton situation, he's on the clock now.
Yeah.
You think he's getting traded? Do you think he's getting moved?
Yeah. If they can get something for him, I would think so.
You can't give him away though. He hasn't given up an NFL I know you're making a face. He hasn't.
I'd love to see Max Melton come back and have this redemption story where he goes from being benched to coming back and tapping into the potential that they drafted him, traded down and drafted him in the second round. I'd love to see that.
Why was he benched though?
Poor play.
Was he bad? Or was the whole team was bad?
The whole team was bad, right?
So I think, listen, if he and Nick Rollis have a tizzy and they need to be put in a room together and figure it out, with all due respect, Nick could be gone by Halloween. I'm not giving away a second round pick.
Well, and Terrell Austin's background is defensive backs.
I don't want to sit here and give somebody Max Melton, who hasn't, by the way, given up an NFL touchdown yet. I'm not in the position.
But let's hold on to that stat a little bit. There's some other things that you can do as far as explosives and chunk plays.
100%.
I think that you got to obviously being in position is key. Just doing your job.
Yeah.
It's just so important for the style of defense that they run that if somebody's not where they're supposed to be, it leads to, chaos. And we saw that far too often. And Max wasn't the only guy that was, guilty of that. And
right.
You got to get I think the mindset should be, yes, get Max Melton back on track, but it's a 2-lane street.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's gonna hold out or anything. If he shows
what was the social media post with Nick Rollis when the news came out?
It was
Rollis
pretty
was
funny.
Returning.
It was pretty funny. You think the team cares about that? I don't think so. Listen, Max.
It's not nothing, Johnny.
Well, I know, but Max knew what we knew. That they offered the job to two other people. They were looking to move off of Nick. I would think Monti.
Yeah, but you got Mac Wilson going out on social media saying unfinished business or something to that degree.
Nick plays off-ball linebacker.
And then you got Max Melton posting a gif of some guy throwing his hands up in the air, saying what WTF to some.
This is where Monti Ossenfort needs to get involved and say, we've invested in this guy. He's one of the few players. Hello,
LaFleur. I even agree. I think LaFleur, he's the new head guy. Hey,
can we all grow up and be professionals? The Cardinals aren't good enough to be cutting or trading for peanuts second-round picks from 2024.
I agree.
I don't, and I also, it's not one of those things where like Andy Isabella can't play. Like we all watch that. He can play. He's got elite speed. He's got length.
Do you know he hasn't given up a touchdown in his career yet?
I am not. Yeah, shut up. I am not sitting here and giving anybody the benefit of the doubt from that scheme last year. Yeah, I'm with you, Ryan. It's like you're gonna understood, but everybody gets a clean slate with a new coaching staff in terms of a new head coach.
Sure.
Isn't this the reason why you fired Gannon, is so you could get more out of your players?
But when it was known that your defensive coordinator, the guy he reports to directly, is coming back, it was a bad look, especially with how things ended. Like,
good for us.
He had the heel or whatever. He got like relegated to special teams, which
crushed on special teams.
Yeah, he excels. He's awesome in special teams, which also there were special teams moves today. He excels, and then like he's on the shelf with the heel. He's gone for a couple weeks, and then he came back, and then he was gone again. And it was just like, what is going on here?
Well, they lied to us. No one told us the truth. No one told us anything last year. Everybody made mistakes last year, but only one person was a top 50 pick or whatever he was.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Right?
Monti Ossenfort passed on Cooper DeJean to take Max Melton. Make it work. Do not get rid of him. Unless he's part of some like robust trade to get you an impact player or a starter somewhere else.
Yeah.
But if I see across the ticker that it's like Max Melton goes to Tennessee for a conditional 5th, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Why am I going to be happy about that?
You shouldn't be. How did we spend so much time on Max Melton on the eve of tampering?
Don't worry, this show's going 3 hours tonight. You're fine. Everyone's fine. Hit that like button. Quick hitters. Special teams. Blake Gillikin, Chad Ryland, contrary to some local reports, said the contrary for today, are back. Thoughts?
I mean, I love Gillikin. He just can't stay healthy. Like Blake Gillikin is one of the better punters in the league. I think it was a nice, savvy move when they picked him up a couple of years ago. But just like his first year in it, an injury, last year ended injury. And I think you saw that group suffered significantly with Blake being out. So can you get him back? Is the back thing all resolved for him? But I really like Gillikin as a punter, not to get too deep in the weeds as far as the punting game. And then like Ryland, I'm sure he's making peanuts. I don't know if it was because he was a restricted guy?
Yeah.
So they just bring him back on the tender, or did they work out something even smaller?
I think he had like $2 million or something.
Okay.
I think he got his tender.
He missed some kicks down the stretch that made things tougher. But
it says worth up to $2.65 million.
Okay.
So that hits its tender.
Yeah. Yeah. As Shafts point out, he's got a great leg. Still young.
Sorry. That was good.
He was able to rebound from, 4th round bust or whatever. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, I think from a coverage standpoint with Coach Goby coming in, Michael Gobriel, they got to get a lot better as far as punt and kick coverage.
Gillikin's good. Chad Ryland was very good in 2024. Kickers are weird. They got bigger fish to fry. No issue with either of those moves. Before we get to tomorrow and quarterback situation, are you surprised Evan Brown has not been cut yet?
No, I think I said this on Friday's show, where I think that Evan Brown is a placeholder at the moment
until they get another guard.
Yeah, because and that's something that Monti has shown. Like, I'm sure you'll get a couple. Like, if they didn't have so many people already under contract, he probably would have made it more of an emphasis to get guys re-signed. But now it's just like Evan Brown. Who was it last year? Also with Brown that they brought back, like Kelvin Beachum. I think he just likes to have guys in place in case things don't go as planned, because like he could have, a couple workups and some deals, parameters and stuff that he's going to throw out to, David Edwards will say that, or Elijah Vera Tucker, one of these guards, but they could always get outbid. just like the Williams thing last year. So I think he just like to have somebody in place. So, but I would anticipate like if they get a guard, they'll probably part ways with Evan Brown. But because they open up so much space, but even before today, they were over 50. Like now you get probably close to 10 extra cap dollars, 10 million extra cap dollars with the reworking of Bunting and James Conner.
Okay. So Evan Brown's on starting for this team. Isaiah Adams is going to start, and then TBD on the other spot. At the recording of this podcast, Over the Cap has the Cardinals at just under $50 million.
They don't have the new reworks in there.
And no one has those yet. We're speculating that those rework deals netted the Cardinals somewhere in the vicinity of about 12 to maybe $15 million.
I would say 10. I would say 10.
No, if Sean Murphy-Bunting went from, okay, well, can we just, all right, we'll say 10 to 12 for the sake of this podcast. 10 to 12.
Okay.
10 to 12. So, yes, Noah, you are correct, which would make it right around $60 million. Dalvin Tomlinson, had he been a post-June 1st cut like we initially estimated, would have put them at 65. Evan Brown, if he's cut, gives them 70. What's going to happen with Zaven Collins, Baron Browning? Like, there's money to be had. I know people were being snark Twitter and saying they got to sign a draft class. Not our fans here, but you know who you are. So anyway, they have like $60 million going into this weekend. Okay. Or going into this week. All right. They could field a starting defense sans a nose tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, they need a right tackle, a left guard, a quarterback. They have a running back now, and a slot receiver. They have the entire draft. We're going to talk about pick 3 later in the show. Malik Willis, $60 million for the Cardinals. Dolphins, $3 million. Jets, Geno Smith, front runners. Enjoy that fresh hell. And then,
haven't they done that?
Yeah, like I forgot he was drafted there, and then he like punched a teammate.
No, teammate broke his jaw, punched him out.
Punch him. That's right.
What a great story that was.
For those who thought that maybe Malik's market was going to cool off here, think again ahead of tomorrow. This report that came out earlier today.
Why are you throwing up radio air quotes?
From our friend Jerry Gergich from Parks and Rec. Jerry Wolfel.
Like if we're gonna make a graphic, put some respect on Jerry Wolfel's name.
That's Jerry from Parks and Rec. That's
Is this one of those fake Twitter
it's real.
accounts?
This guy, I trust him with my life. I trust him with my family. Jerry Gergich. It appears the Cardinals have emerged as the front runners to sign Malik Willis, who performed quite well the last 2 seasons as Jordan Love's backup in Green Bay. New Cardinals head coach Mike LaFleur is the younger brother of head coach, blah, blah, blah. Sources said the Cardinals could be offer could be for 2 years and total $60 million.
I don't know who this man is. I think I bought insurance from him.
No, he's from Pawnee, Indiana. It's Jerry Gergich. All right. Jerry.
It's like Gil from Simpsons. Come on. Help Gil out.
Jerry's got 10,000 followers. He is a Packer. Is he credentialed?
He was at the combine.
Okay. Where's his picture at the combine? We don't have
the one
that.
I shared with you. You and I on our text thread.
He is a real person.
He is.
He has a website called Wolfel's Press Box, and he only writes about Packers. So he's like a Packers blogger. A credentialed Packers blogger, Jerry Wolfel, and he has not tweeted out much of anything lately that's gotten any kind of run, but then he dropped that bomb today.
Yeah.
Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
A lot of concerns with old Jer. Jer, the one that's dropping the bombs here. It just feels like because we see this, we feel like all the signs point to it, right? You know, when you start to say like, okay, who are the teams that are in on Malik Willis? Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, and maybe you could say the Jets, but all the Jets reporters are saying no, they don't want to spend big at all on the quarterback. They're going to go with maybe a couple veteran options. Pittsburgh, just swap. We support Jerry. By the way, he spells his name with a G and one R. It's like when you talk about what the numbers have been thrown around outside of our guy Mike Garafolo on Friday, like saying it's going to be north of 25, it's going to be close to 30. It's just all pretty like educated guessy to me. But look, I mean, I looked down his timeline. He doesn't have anything like outrageous. He doesn't have any kind of like grasping at straws either. So I don't know. I'm just curious to see like I don't know if they want to spend that much on Malik Willis, but I know that they should be in the Malik Willis market heavily.
How can they be outbid by anybody? Who's out? Like the Falcons have $8 million. Yeah, I trust his track record too. I've always said that. I've always been supportive of Jerry.
You're gonna have just like Jerry watch your kids next week.
Jerry's gonna be on the show tomorrow if he breaks this news. Jerry it'll be like an analog phone. He'll be calling in. Yeah, respect Jerry, Bo. Come on.
Yeah. Look, you got one too many R's in there. B's. Oh no, you didn't. You got it right. I would say it's not. I saw somebody say, hey, it's worth it. Like I understand that. I would fully respect Monti Ossenfort pulling off that deal and taking a swing at the quarterback position. I'm actually more concerned that the reality, the harsh reality, if he doesn't, because I don't know which direction you can go that has upside.
If he doesn't, if we're sitting here, let's just entertain this for a second, and God forbid say our boy Jerry's incorrect. If he doesn't end up with Malik Willis tomorrow, I wrote about it at gophnx.com.
Yeah,
he's a dead man walking. You just, what are you doing? Why are you freeing up this cap? Like they've actively been aggressive to free up cap space.
Mm-hmm.
They're restructuring people. They're cutting people left and right. Like you could have held on to Dalvin Tomlinson another couple weeks. You wanted that $10 million. You could have told James Conner, and I know they had maybe like a $2 million roster bonus, but you get the idea. They have been actively slicing this salary cap, which I agree with, by the way. The players that they've moved off of did not perform last year. By the way, you got a bunch more on the roster that could use the axe. But right now, they went from $38 million to $60 million in a couple of days. They wanted to have this ready to go, cash in hand. Miami Dolphins have $3 million. Atlanta Falcons have $8 million. Pittsburgh Steelers, we're assuming they get Aaron Rodgers. I just feel like if they have to sign him for $60 million, they have to sign him for $60 million. I'm not going to come on this show tomorrow and be like, oh, a 2-year deal for $60 million is going to hamstring this team. Look at the salary cap implications and commitments next year. It's minimal. Kyler's off the books. You're going to try to re-sign Paris and Michael Wilson, which probably wouldn't really kick in until 2028. I'm like, they're going to have money next year.
Yeah.
Would you rather spend? It's a 2-year deal, guys.
Right. Well, and you do most of the guarantees this year. Yeah. If it's 260 and 40 are guaranteed, and say you do like the bulk, like 28-30 this year, then you're only on the hook for 10 more million guaranteed. And that's a drop in the bucket and then like, especially like if Willis doesn't hit,
you just cut him.
You're losing games. Yeah. You cut him. And also like where you're going as far as the next quarterback, it's going to be a rookie scale contract.
Also, like he's a good guy. He could just be your backup next year.
Yeah.
Like Jacoby's gone after this year. And even if it's per Jerry up to 60 million, that doesn't mean it's 60 guaranteed. It could be like 35 guaranteed.
Well, as DL saying like 260 is embarrassing. It was like what we're saying is it's 240.
Right.
if the guarantee money goes up and you're kind of, if you're locked in with Willis after this year, that's when you approach some tough territory.
Yeah, just tell him, hey Malik, we have the 4th pick. We're gonna take the quarterback, and you're going to be our mentor, and we would like to not pay you this much money next year. You can either be here or you can be cut. Or, God forbid, and this is not the reality anybody wants to have outside of Arizona, especially if this hits the Twitter streets tomorrow and there are going to be people doing this. God forbid he plays great or good. And then people are going to be like, that Cardinal contract's not looking too bad. Hey, the Cardinals are 500 at the bye week, and Malik Willis has 20 total touchdowns. Oh, okay. Like, what's the alternative? Jimmy Garoppolo in a wheelchair? Jacoby Brissett, who went 1-11 last year? This is, you got to play the hand you're dealt. I see a lot of people like on Twitter, like barf bag to the $60 million. Guys, Ty Simpson is not ready to play games, period. You think Ty Simpson's ready to play in the NFC West? Come on. This kid's been in the NFL for what? 4 or 5 years. He's been under Matt LaFleur, Mike's brother. He's played on prime time. I mean, it's like, this is good of a roll of the dice as you're going to get this offseason.
Bird Gang, it does account for Kyler's cap hit in 2026, which is going to be, I think they're going to lose maybe $2 million extra dollars as far as cap goes. So it's about the same. And that this was never an option. I mean,
we pushed for that.
Right. I mean, everybody wanted that to happen, but all parties were ready to move on. Just nobody was willing to consider that. I hear you. You don't have to spin me. You don't have to persuade me on Malik Willis. I think that's, as far as the play goes, as far as the age, as far as the traits, I know it's not without risk. We have to say that again. It's not without risk. It could be.
People will forget we said that if he doesn't play well, though. I mean,
I don't care.
We're not sitting here and, painting the Mona Lisa of offseason quarterback scenarios.
Right.
This is what it is. You want to pay Kirk Cousins to be Kirk Cousins at 38, 39?
Yeah.
I mean, he's 26. He's going to be 27 years old.
What are the other options here? Like there's the option to trade a pick for Bagent.
I watched his highlights yesterday. His arm's not that great. A lot of his stuff, especially I watched that preseason game. He looked okay. It's boots. It's rollouts. It felt very scripted. People were running wide open. I mean, like he's got the best play caller in the NFL right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Mike wants to run. Similar, right?
I just don't think you can, like, what
would you watched him in preseason?
I watched his preseason game this year for the Bears with Ben Johnson. And he had like 200 plus yards passing and maybe 2 touchdowns. But it's like, it's boots him out. It's very rarely is it him in the pocket. There were a couple throws, him throwing downfield. Everything
booted a ton. He boots a ton in that Rams offense. If Mike is running anything similar to McVay, which I'm sure he will.
I wanted to watch it and be like, oh yeah, I see some traits here. Here's what you like about him. He's got some mobility. He's huge. He's really big. His arm's good, not great, although it's indoors as opposed to Chicago. There's just not enough footage of him. There's just not enough right now.
I'll say this. It can't be Jimmy G.
No.
And going and running it back with Jacoby Brissett seems like it's a non-starter for me. But I don't think that that Malik Willis, if for whatever reason they don't get him, like it's just a failure of an offseason. Like they do have to be able to pivot and find somebody, whether it's a Kirk,
Derek Carr,
even a Bagent, like would provide some sort of intrigue.
Well, you get Bagent in here and you'd say, go compete with Jacoby Brissett with that mindset.
It's not the equivalent of, like, if you miss out on Malik, it's not the same as you hiring Vance Joseph as your next head coach.
No, and I listen, and if everybody sucks this year, they're getting a QB atop the 2027
right.
draft. Whereas
there's some people who are like, suck. Go ahead and
No.
suck. I don't want to watch just a lost season.
Just a loser mentality. But we'll on this show, if it's Thanksgiving and this team is horseshit, excuse my language, after dark, I'm going to root for this team to lose out for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever. Like, that's different than, hey, it's March, tank in 6 months from now. I don't want to do that. I don't want to look at these rookies, in April and tell them, hey, congratulations, you're a Cardinal. Get ready to suck this year. Like, the Cardinals aren't doing that.
Yeah.
That's why, I wrote an article, gophnx.com yesterday, and it's just like the amount of pressure that's on Monti Ossenfort right now is immense, and these moves telegraph that. Like, his urgency right now is just like clean slate, tomorrow, execute. You have to.
Right.
If you cannot wet the bed, because the 2024 free agent class was a disaster. Last year you got Sweat. Tomlinson was bad. Cut him. 2023 basically added nothing outside of Yelda. You got to come away. Let's do this conversation. They got to come away with likely Malik Willis, and what else tomorrow or Tuesday?
Yeah, guard or a tackle. It would be nice to see like a defensive piece, just so it's just not like running it back like you were offensively, like naively, like you did the previous offseason, right? And maybe that move might become like I could accept, the draft is where you're gonna make your big move defensively, but I would anticipate it. Like, I asked Garofolo on the show on Friday, I was like, he called the defensive line aggressive rebuild last offseason. Said, where are they going to spend their money? He said, you're going to look at the offensive line and maybe the defensive line, just because you saw the numbers dwindle on the defensive line, injury with Nolan, and then, exit of Dalvin and probably Calais. So you're going to have to kind of throw some money in there, and we'll see. Like, did Monti like what he got as far as the ROI on Josh Sweat? Would he look into some of these intriguing pass rushers potentially? Who is it from Green Bay, like Rashawn Gary or somebody like that? Could be interesting.
That'd be pretty wild.
Yeah.
Because don't you think, I don't know if there's enough cash. You can get creative. Like, is there enough cash to go and get Malik? Couldn't get Malik at $30 million a year to then also get a starting guard. I think it's gonna be a guard, because I think right now
there are two very viable guards that aren't gonna, you're gonna overpay for them, but I think it's a worthy investment.
And then we're gonna be barreling toward Francis being the third overall pick. I think that's where we're at right now. But in that scenario, you still need an edge rusher. I just I understand the edge rusher market, by the way, is going to be hot. It's going to be aggressive. Hendrickson, people talking about trading for Walker from Jacksonville. I just don't think the Bears are going to be in on these edge rushers. I just don't think the Cardinals are going to be in on that. I think the Cardinals are much more likely to say Birch and BJ Ojulari and maybe a Baron Browning, whatever, Zaven, and then getting an edge rusher either 3 or 34 or somewhere. Hopefully that's not me tomorrow. Trey Hendrickson, they were in on last year. I just think I'm with you. I think they should add a defensive piece. I think they should be selective. They have to add at least a defensive lineman. Yeah. I don't really have the appetite to give another pass rusher to Nick right now for $20+ million after what I saw last year.
Right.
I go develop somebody, Nick. Go develop Jordan Birch. Figure it out. You're gonna get an edge rusher with a top 100 pick. I can almost guarantee it. If I'm signing Malik Willis and I'm trying to give Mike LaFleur every chance on offense as our play caller, I like Elijah Vera Tucker, one of these guards, give some money to, and then you're gonna get a right tackle. But I love Nick Rallis. It pains me to say this. I'm done. I'm pulling the selfish. I'm putting away the credit card. It's like last year. I let him go to Malibu with the credit card and do whatever he wanted.
Right.
And then the season opened up and he didn't have, The balance was overdue, and it remained overdue. You got guards catching hitch routes, comebacks. I'm not into that. Go and Monti Ossenfort and get Malik Willis and get an O lineman. And I'm like, you're gonna think I'm crazy. If there's a receiver underneath that you like, go sign him. No issue with that.
I don't like how people are kind of giving us these phrases like "Bo, eat your vegetables, Brack," or Johnny, excuse my French, Venerable. I mean, they're just
with all due respect. How about that one?
Yeah, they're just littering the chat right now. Oh man, do we want to get these super chats? I mean, look, I don't feel comfortable. Going into this thing tomorrow.
Full transparency. I went to Bo's house last night to check on him because his wife was out of town. She got back today, thankfully, safely.
That's right.
I checked on Bo like a good friend, and I just looked at Bo. My wife was sitting at the table with us, and I just looked at Bo and I just said, "I don't feel good about Monday."
Yeah. Johnny's a great friend. He knew I was solo parenting, and he dropped off a blizzard. What a guy! If you're ever wondering, like, man, maybe his takes aren't that great. Maybe
no one thinks that.
maybe he needs to trim his beard a little bit more.
Hey.
So do I. But
wow.
There's no question about this guy and his character. This top-notch character.
I don't know. That was supposed to be a compliment, and then it just took a dark turn. I mean, like, here, like, I wrote that article, and then, like,
that's right.
And then, like, one of the comments, I think it was from Brian. It was like, Monty, fight for your job. And it's like, yeah, man, go and try to, like, do something aggressive. Like, we always use the term, like, risk adverse. You use that a lot. I put it in the article, like,
Bo risk adverse Brack. Yeah.
Bro risk adverse Brack. Monty risk adverse Ossenfort. It's like, it's probably not the offseason to do it, but, like, he's never made a trade of note. He's never traded up outside of Paris.
Yeah.
He, like, Sweat was his, like, first big deal. And thankfully, look, it worked out.
Right.
Yeah, he's outperforming his contract.
Right.
But, like,
he was, like, really the only slam dunk of the offseason. It's just like, hey, man, you make good money. You're an NFL GM. He's like, Dodge Stratus, man, reliable car.
But,
give
like,
it to me.
What has that gotten you? Here's what I will say.
Gets me to and from, my man.
If you were, like, clocking in at 7 to 8, 9 wins a year, that's one thing.
Right.
You got 15 wins, brother, in 3 years. That's rough.
Right.
That's rough.
It's time to go for it a little bit. And we're not saying go for it. Like the Malik Willis thing, like, people will push back in, and I'll push back even harder. Like, it's not a huge risk, especially when it's basically a 1-year deal. It's a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And if he performs, you got him for another year. You rework the deal to a longer contract.
Or you just say, do it again and take a rookie quarterback.
Right.
You're playing with house money. But, like, that's why I was a big proponent of Love, and still am. It's just like, when you're desperate and you're going to be living with it and dying with every game, you can't start 1-5, Monty.
Right.
That's not a reality for you.
Right. No, I mean, it's the guy, everything's pointing to, his wife walking out on him, and it's like, hey, just do anything, show any signs of life. It's just like,
get a gym membership,
do something,
buy some new clothes, man.
We got a monster super chat from our guy Ranger.
I got it right here. How about this? $50. What? That's a good omen for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Monty Ranger spending.
Yeah, if Monty would spend like Ranger on this show.
How many Lombardi would we have? Rangers. So the offseason for the Cards will be QB guard. The tackles are not that good to pay $20 million for. So I think they will draft Maui Noah at the 3rd pick and an edge in round 2. I mean, like, I still have to see them pass on David Bailey if the Jets go Arvell Reese. But we know this. We've said it ad nauseum. They thought Jonah Williams and the right tackle was the biggest liability on the roster last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with you, Ranger. Like, I don't love these free agent tackles.
I think that and it could telegraph what they're going to do in the draft. It very well could. Like, if they get a starting caliber tackle, like the Maui Noah option, I think is gone. And still, you could take a developmental guy later. But I think it's very plausible that the Cardinals could go out there, spend big on a guard, and then maybe take like a tier 2 or tier 3 tackle, and it could still. But if they get a really good guard, think about the offensive line, because then you've got 3 guys you feel pretty comfortable about with the opportunity of Adams somehow figuring it out. And you got 4/5 of it figured out.
Who's the best guard? David Edwards?
I think so.
I mean, Rosenthal, who we like, NFL.com has Vera Tucker, the 12th best free agent, Edwards, the 13th.
Yeah.
But Edwards,
I think they're interchangeable. You got the history there with Vera Tucker. With
Edwards, though, has been healthy. Vera Tucker misses a lot of games. Here's David Edwards, real quick, career. He's played 16 games, 17 games, 4, then 16, 16, 17, 16, 17. He's playing.
Yeah.
Outside of, I'm guessing that was the season ender, whenever that was. So my guess is that's probably their preference. What's it going to take to sign David Edwards? I mean,
I think PFF had projections of him making like 13 or 14 million a season. It wasn't crazy.
That's not too bad. He is 29. Vera Tucker is the ultimate, like, it's a gamble, but if it works out.
Wasn't he like 17 million a season projection?
He's 26.
Yeah.
He was easily the best guard in that class. I remember when he was coming out, and he didn't play tackle, but people knew he was going to kick inside out of USC. Like, at their best, Vera Tucker is better.
Yeah.
But it's like, we got enough hurt players here that I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the play. But how do you know, especially with the Cardinals training staff, that's a smart decision?
This is a little on the conservative side. They've got David Edwards at just under 12 mil per year.
Okay.
Vera Tucker at under 17.5 mil per year. And then there's like Isaac Samala from Pittsburgh, who's the top guard on the market.
He's like 32 though.
Yeah, isn't he? Yeah, was he hurt too?
Yeah, I'm not into that.
How about our guy Jacob jumping in? Thank you, by the way, Ranger, for that $50 super chat. So generous, gets us going. We're gonna have wall-to-wall coverage tomorrow. I'm gonna be live in the Discord too.
Like that.
Jacob saying Monty's becoming the new Drew Punting. Nice job.
Fair or not, when Gannon was fired, it was like, okay, Monty, you inherit the 15-36 record.
You do.
You inherit that. Michael LaFleur doesn't inherit that. You do. Help Mike. Get Mike some flipping help, please.
Right. But Mike he gets the longer leash, though. He gets the grace, but Monty does not. He does not. He shouldn't. And if he thinks he has it, oh boy.
Like, Monty, this is supposed to be fun. Like, have some fun. Let's see some fun moves here. Ranger, $10. Johnny, a sad boy tonight. No love for the Cardinals. Is there any way they draft him now?
Love?
Yeah.
No.
James.
I just don't think so.
Get James and like an heir apparent to James. See you, Trey. AZ Moses, 89. New member. New membies.
Love that. Thank you for being a supporter. I thought AZ Moses was already in the squad, but you're re-upping, or if you're just getting in official, then that's fantastic. Glad to have you aboard. Always an active member here. How about Brian P? When do figures have to be announced for SMB and JC?
Hey, they usually get announced in like the spring. I'm telling you, Sean Murphy-Bunting's making no money here. James, we'll sniff around on James. I bet it's half his salary, what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, he was going to make 9, or it was 9.8 as far as the cap. I would imagine they cut that in half at the very least.
Bees, what's up, Bees? Love that new profile pic. Happy tampering Eve to all who celebrate. We celebrate. Listen, Malik Willis tomorrow. That notification comes in, but Cardinal fans, if you're up for it, allow yourself to enjoy that.
Yeah. What do you got to put out for Monty Claus? What's going to get him going? Something probably not too high in calories. Something safe. But what's going to get him?
All teens, maybe.
Come on. He's not 87 years old.
Monty, here's some saltines and raisins.
For all those who celebrate, make sure you leave out a nice like protein bar in water, with electrolytes for Monty Claus.
I wrote my article. That I've done my job. Steven Jackson, $4.99. Happy Connor is back, but running it back with Connor and Benson is not good enough. Still need a big name free agent or Love. I just feel like James Conner to me is the guy, and you need to get his heir apparent. And Trey, I just am not counting on Trey Benson at all. I just have no confidence in him.
Yeah.
If it, like, you want to trade a 7th for Chuba Hubbard and make Carolina eat most of his salary, come on down. Do something creative like that. If you want to go a veteran route, I'm telling Trey, go join Max Melton on special teams.
Yeah, there's no assurances with this running back as it stands right now. And there's it doesn't make you feel comfortable. It's like, can both of them stay healthy? And then also can at 31, JC be as productive, and can Trey Benson find a way to be productive consistently?
Brian P. Every year there's a running back that no one had on the radar that performs really well. 100%. Here's what I also was like. Matt LaFleur's offense was mostly a one running back deal with Josh Jacobs 2 years ago before Josh got hurt this year. And then LaFleur, probably like 60-40, 70-30 Williams, and Blake Corum started picking it up. They need like, if it was me and you had multiple picks, take 2 running backs. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Brian P, by the way, supporter PHNX Sports for 6 months. That's unbelievable.
One of our
Ranger,
favorites.
always unbelievable. Jumping in for 10 more bucks. If we had drafted Love, we would just be like the Falcons with Bijan and the Giants with Barkley. They put up numbers but can't win in this quarterback league.
Well, if Malik's good,
couldn't have said it better myself.
I respectfully, Ranger, disagree. I don't respectfully disagree with Bo. I disrespectfully disagree with Bo. I just like the Jeremiyah Love and Malik Willis, like just running option power. I think that would be fun as hell. It might last like four plays, but
neat. Yeah. How about our guy Colin? Member for 5 months. Shocked. SMB got restructured because he is old and coming off an injury.
I think they just said, "Hey, you've been a good soldier. Do you want to come back?"
Yeah, either rework it or you're out. Okay.
Well, he had no leverage. He had zero leverage.
Right. Iron Will, $10. Thank you, Will. If we get Willis, no Love, my prediction. Willis misses 5 games from wear and tear. Connor injures that ankle for a 5th time, and Love gets 1,200 yards, takes his team to the playoffs. Wishing I'm wrong. What team? Who's drafting? The Titans at 4? They're going to win the South? Cam Ward, Jeremiyah Love?
Yeah, I saw Titan fans celebrating today after the Cardinals re-signed James Conner. There's a lot of run on our post at Go PHNX or PHNX Cardinals on Twitter that Jeremiyah Love was going to be a Tennessee Titan.
Bees wants to know who broke Bo's heart. He doesn't want Love for AZ. I want a bigger Love, a greater Love, one that turns into wins for this football team.
Enough. Here's what you don't get to do though. Sit here and be like, if whomever they take is average to below average and then Love's awesome, you don't get to be like, well, they still made the right decision. You have to say like, no, they were wrong.
I will. Emory Harris, what's going on? Big fan here. If you can, Bo, tell them to take Love 3rd and go offensive line 2nd round, just so someone decent with potential to grow the defensive line next pick.
Bo, tell them.
I will.
When's the next time you're going to see anybody?
Probably the end of this week, I would think. Once the deals become official, they'll start to get some of these free agents doing introductory pressers or early next week. Brian P. Burke gave up 20 yards to a guard. But Max is out of position. Let's be real. Rollis can't coach, or he surrounded himself with a staff that couldn't.
The Cardinals hired the defensive coordinator from the Pittsburgh Steelers of the last 4 years. I think they're going to be better. But you're right. Like nobody that defense right now my confidence level is 0. I need to be bought back in. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust any of those guys. Show up and do something. 199, Noah.
Is it a super sticker or is it just
I think it's just some support. Noah, if you've got a question, put it in the chat, my man. We'll read it.
How about Stylo's mom or Stilo's mom? Do you guys believe a Malik Willis announcement happens tomorrow?
Damn well better.
I think so. I mean,
if we're doing a show tomorrow and they don't have a Malik Willis signed, I'm going to crash out.
If Malik Willis is still on the market, though, I'd be pretty surprised.
Yes. The Jimmy Garoppolo thing needs to be over, too. Enough of that. I saw a little bit of that tonight, whereas Cardinals still sniffing. No, stop it.
Yeah.
Come on, Monty.
Iron Will's back. Do you think Kyler would be tagged post-June 1st designation to save $7 million this year after June 1st as opposed to pre-June 1st? I think that's interesting. I haven't got confirmation on it, but if they can make the decision.
How much do they save? 7?
7 were, and if they don't, if it's just a straight up cut in the new league year, it's going to be negative $2 more million off the cap as it stands right now.
I mean, nothing would surprise me. They're trying to save every dime they get. The more I think about it, it's like, I get it. You don't want it on your books next year at all, but like this is a big year for Monty. It's like that's $7 million. That's a starter you could go sign.
Right. I mean, but they could make some moves Monday, Tuesday, and be like, "Well, we need this now," or this season, and they could post it. How about bees? I'm joining Bo in the heartbroken, broken heart emoji. Big win in the football emoji.
So let's reassess the 3rd overall pick right now.
By the way, 600 people now live with us. Hit that like button.
We love all of you, every one of you. No Jeremiyah Love. Better not be Arvell Reese. Is it Francis Maui Noah or David Bailey?
That's what I'd like to think at this point in the process. It's what helps me sleep at night.
Arvell Reese at 20 years old, off-ball linebacker, tweener, given than Rick Rollis. No thanks. But we're going to, like, if they sign it, here's the thing, though. They sign a tackle tomorrow, and they're like, we got a tackle, multi-year deal. Then we're going to have to sweat this shit out for 6 weeks. Reese versus Bailey. And that's unless they can trade down, which no one's trading up.
It better not be like, hey, they draft Reese and he's going to split time with Cody Simon. It's like, I like Cody Simon. It's like,
don't even say that.
He better be third string. It's like Reese and Mac Wilson time. And I better see Reese just flying around in training camp to make me feel better about it.
Cody Simon's going to be good.
Jacob Tackett. Odds we take Reese if we get a right tackle in free agency.
Talked about that.
Yeah.
I would say
Good
50.
question, though.
I think it becomes 50-50. There are people who think Reese is like the second best player in this draft. Those people need help. But, I mean, like, would it shock you if Monty was like, somebody just give us a 3rd and we'll move down 2 spots? It's like, all right.
Our guy, AZ Moses, explaining himself. Doesn't have to explain himself, but I was curious why he was becoming a supporter for the first time. CC, his credit card had been replaced, lapsed. My bad. I was trying to drop that one.
You blew it. Hit that like. We appreciate you, AZ Moses. Get us to 500 likes. Trinity, $4.99. Calling it now. Malik, 2 for 50. David Edwards, 3 for 45. We should also sign another running back. Can't rely on Connor's health. Agreed.
It's a good plan.
Some of those free agent running back deals, Kenneth Gainwell and Travis Etienne and Kenneth Walker, are getting gross. Be gross. So people thought I was coping, and maybe there was a little cope going on when I tweeted today that I'm happy that James came back on a reduced 1-year deal because it gives you the financial freedom. I mean, like, I don't know how anybody would be confident. Hey, we gave a 4-year deal to Travis Etienne. It's like, nah. They need to let Mike pick out a back in April and get a back ready to go to be the guy. Or, like, keep your options open.
Yeah.
Like, the Packers just straight up signed Josh Jacobs 2 years ago. It's like, next year, maybe there's an opportunity for like a starting back hits the market and you've got money. Then suddenly, there's nothing, even with Malik. I just want everybody to understand this. There is nothing hampering this team beyond this year. We're not going to sit here in 2027 and be like, oh no, we have to cut DeAndre Hopkins. Oh no, we have to cut Kyler Murray. Like, we're living in it right now where it's like, this is kind of a pain, but they're still going to be able to make moves. Look at overthecap.com. I'm just going to run through this real quick here.
Okay.
Cap space. The Bills, -12. The Ravens, -12. The Lions, -6. The Vikings, -1 million. The Colts, -100,000. And then there's like 10 teams that don't have $20 million in cap space. And then the Cardinals, does anybody know what the Cardinals are in cap space? They're like 7th in the NFL, behind the Raiders, who are terrible, Titans, Commanders, Chargers, Jets, Seahawks, and Cardinals. Like, and who are the Cardinals losing? They're not losing anybody. It's going to be okay. If they overpay for Malik Willis for 2 years, I promise you, we're going to be sitting here next year if he stinks, and they're going to get a quarterback, and they're going to have money, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Sticker shock. That's what it is. That's all it is. How about Sam went digital, $4.99. Good to see Sam. How about can't wait to buy my Malik Willis jersey tomorrow? You guys are great. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. We appreciate the 600 strong. That number went up quickly. 650 now here on a Sunday Cards After Dark. What number is he going to wear? 1? Does he just replace the 1?
I don't think so. I think he takes, what's his number in Green Bay? 2?
Yeah, but that's Mac Wilson, right?
Sorry, Mac. Jacob, 199. Are we in on any good inside linebackers tomorrow? That would be a pretty big shock.
Yeah.
Because they have 2 starters on it. But Jacob, they had a horror show of a depth chart behind those 2 guys last year. If they saw
Devin Lloyd and Quay Walker, is that who you're looking at?
Yeah, and those guys are getting like what Mac Wilson got probably a couple years ago, or then some.
Devin Lloyd's getting way more than that.
Yeah. But I just, the Akeem Davis Gaither thing was the worst of all reality.
Yeah. Edmonds is released by the Bears.
But here's what I like. Like, that's how you should do it. You should either take a Cody Simon late, or you should sign one in free agency. You should not take them early in the draft.
Right.
They need to use every penny they have on offensive and defensive linemen and a quarterback. Like that. Is there a defensive lineman that anybody likes? Like, if I'm looking at the NFL's top 100, the best defensive lineman is, what's his name? The guy has 3 names.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name? John Franklin Myers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, who's after John Franklin Myers?
DJ Reader's old. Calais is old. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, like, does anybody want to sign like Kwity Paye? I'm looking at this list. I'm
in Onyemata.
I'm in the 40s. You know who the next best defensive lineman is? Calais at 40 years old.
Right. Yeah, John Franklin Myers.
DJ Reader, you'd mentioned, he's 32. Draymond Jones, he was good for the Raiders or Ravens once upon a time. What about this? Is there like a marquee or a quality defensive lineman or offensive lineman that has a high cap hit that they could trade for? Like, would that surprise you if Monty's like, here's a 4th for or a 5th for a defensive lineman?
What about Carice Tunga or Roy Lopez? Oh, yeah, they were on this team.
Oh, yeah, Carice Tunga started for a Super Bowl team.
Rangers back $10. Just be like the Vikings and not make the pick to move down in the draft.
That'd be hilarious.
You didn't get the bra in there. I'll get it. Hold on. There it is.
Francis Maui Noah.
I'm so slow without Noah.
Is Noah here?
No.
He's gone. Kurt for Prez, $5. Johnny and Bo, who do you guys think the Cardinals will sign first and will be Brissett get traded tomorrow? They better sign Malik Willis first. There's no way you can do anything before that gets done.
Doing?
Who's doing that? Shane?
Yeah. I would love for Jacoby Brissett to be traded. Come on, this is a professional show.
Shane, get your greasy fingers off the soundboard.
What?
I think Brissett. I think Brissett. I've heard enough to believe he's sticking around in some capacity.
What if they just are saying that as leverage until they get Malik Willis? I'm being serious. Signed, and then they're like, "See ya."
And then
hey,
what?
Jets, give us that pick.
Jimmy G or who?
I don't care.
You should. I mean, good backups are. He's not that expensive.
No, because they're like, you can get a backup in a couple weeks.
I would hold on to him.
No, give me a pick. Give me a draft pick. He's a free agent after this year.
Hookah therapy. Have you guys seen David Boston's son in Caldwell as late that day 2 and day 3 picks?
David Boston has a son and he's in the draft. He plays wide receiver for Washington, Denzel Boston. Yeah, he's huge. 6'4", 209. He had 11 touchdowns this year.
He plays receiver?
Yeah, he plays wide out. Of course he does.
Okay.
He's been in Washington for 4 years. Last 2 years, he's got 20 combined touchdowns. Pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know if he's a prospect or not, but got some size. Man, hit that like button. Over 600 people watching right now. All right, so let's play devil's advocate, worst case scenario. Okay? We're sitting here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Comes across the ticker, Jimmy Garoppolo to the Cardinals, like 2 years, $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reaction?
That's unfortunate. Like really unfortunate. And it's going to be like, what? I don't know. I don't.
You're at a loss for words even thinking about it.
I am. I mean, it would probably be something scathing. It would be coming in hard.
Would you be aggressive on Twitter? Would you be mad on Twitter?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't know if that just doesn't seem like that's the plan. Like your quarterback room is going to be the 2016 Patriots with Tom Brady suspended for Deflategate 10 years later.
If that's the play, Monty's not cut out for this. That would be my reaction. Is like Monty is not cut out for this
for sure.
You should have fired Monty in January.
Yeah. How about Cardinals Charles? I love the aggressive profile pick there.
That's great.
Yeah. What time does free agency start? 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Tucson time? It is 9 a.m. here with the time change around the rest of the United States. Suckers.
I was going to say something dumb. Does Tucson have a different time than us here in Phoenix? It's like I drove down to Tucson. I lost an hour.
Mm-mm.
That'd be hilarious.
But Real Tone Rangers asking, are we going to be live at 9? And I'll be live in the Discord. And then like when big deal happens, we're going to be live.
What if we're sitting here at showtime tomorrow and they haven't done anything?
And they just got $60 million cap space in the bank?
Last year, if you weren't following us, so we had reported they were in on Milton Williams. That was their primary target.
Yeah.
And they tried hard to sign Milton Williams. They went over $20 million.
Yeah.
And the Patriots had FU money. And they didn't get Milton. They tried. They were like down to the final 2. And then they pivoted to Josh Jones like right away before anybody could be sad about Milton Williams.
Well, yes, Jars, you can join the Discord. You can go to gophnx.com, become a diehard, and you get access to the exclusive member Discord. That would be insane. I don't want to live in that reality. Stop bringing up bad hypotheticals. We're going to find out in less than 12 hours. How about 11 hours from now? New supporter added to the fold. How about Cuff 66?
See a Cuff? Cuff's back.
Wear out those supporter emojis. We're gonna have if you check out the YouTube page, you can find just some members only type stuff. But man, it's been a banner night tonight. Thank you for everybody for joining us for the Cards After Dark. Like I said, live in the Discord, emergency pod when needed for big time signings. Put in the comments, not the chat, in the comments tonight, whether or not Malik Willis is going to be the Cardinals' next quarterback. If it's not Malik, tell us the next guy. that's on your mind. Ranger, real quick, jumping in. I hope free agent does not go like the coaching. The free agent's saying no during the search.
Now, they don't say no to that green.
No.
To that money.
Yeah, right. Our friends over at PHNX Sun's going to get live right after us. Go join them. Great show over there as well.
Follow Jerry on Twitter.
That's right. Our guy, Jerry Wolfel. There it is. Sun's huge win.
Jerry Gergich.
As they start to just continue to chomp away at that the magic number. Man, yeah, go join PHNX Suns and celebrate the dub, and then we'll be hopefully celebrating some big signings tomorrow for Johnny and our guy Shane. Thanks for getting this up and going. I'm Bo. We'll talk to you PHNX Cardinals on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.